Sabnoks have terrible hitboxes. I never know what part of them is going to damage me, so I just resign myself to taking one hit while killing them. They go down pretty quick. There's 2 of them right in the path. So you see what I mean about these kill quests. They're just right in the way. And now we're on into the Garden of Silence. We're going to jump this guy's arrow. But we are going to kill every enemy that we can find. We do need to kill these archer guys for the kill quest anyway. Ah, excuse you. And this is one of the problems with using only kicks, is you can only attack directly in front of you, so enemies that fly up and out of reach are up and out of reach. So, that's that. Alright, let's see if we can get this properly. These toads should go down in 2 kicks. There's a piece of equipment over here that's going to be useful for the extra defense. We really want every point of extra defense we can get. These, like, weird flying pig nerds always seem to take, like, 1 extra hit than I think they're going to take. Alright, we're going to let that guy attack. But we need... Ow! I didn't realize your lunge went that far. My goodness. Alright, Toad work. Come on, Toad. I need your help. I don't remember if I've kicked you once or not. But what I need you to do is jump in this Iron Maiden. Thank you. Then I can push the Iron Maiden forward. Famously, when I first played this game on stream, I didn't realize you could move these Iron Maidens. You can jump into it, and then it does a bunch of damage to you. And I didn't think about kicking an enemy into it. Later in the game, I get an ability that can move them. But again, because of weird hitbox issues, because of the 3D graphics of the game, I got insufficient feedback. I tried to grab the Iron Maiden with the special attack, and it looked like the grab failed. Like, oh, that's not what I have to do. When in reality, I just wasn't standing close enough, or standing too close, or whatever the case was. And you are supposed to grab it. Here's where we can undutoir our way to an MP up. MP is really only useful for undutoiring, which is to say, not super useful. But it did let us get this fried egg, which is good for 1 permanent point of mind. So basically the food items that I find, I'm going to eat, but I'm not going to go out of my way to craft any. That takes... we might get lucky. We might get lucky and end up with some crafted food items just in the run. Where's that arrow? There it is. There's the other one. And then just the... Oh, the grass is still alive. Very good. You're still alive. Ugh. Boots are low damage equipment, which makes some of the early bosses, like, the game is front-loaded in difficulty because of that. And here's an example of what I mean with the graphic detail in this game. Like, kind of a cool room, but like the moon in the background there, you see how it's in front of the castle? Like, they didn't even bother to clean that up. So the game looks fine, I guess, at first glance. But when you scrutinize the graphics, you see lots of little errors like that. My preference, of course, is just to have hand-drawn 2D sprites. Those are much more expensive, though, than doing 3D renders of characters. These guys can drop. He didn't. But they can drop a crafting material that can make us better armor. We're not going to worry about it if we don't get it, but it would be nice to have it. I'm going to try to jump over this guy's head, or I'll just clip into his head, whatever. I feel like I'm not getting a lot of shard drops, which does not bode well. Not incredibly good. But okay, here we go to the first really hard boss of the game, and probably the hardest boss in the run. Now, if you have the oleanders here, the boss isn't trivial, but he's much easier because he takes a lot of damage over the course of the whole fight, because he's poisoned, right? We don't have the oleanders. So we have to make do with just what we have. We're going to get behind him. And you really just want to feather the ground. You want to see him turn around and bait out an attack. And he has that like backdash special that he does. Which is his most dangerous attack by far. Ow. You see, I'm trying not to spend any time on the ground. Like, at all. That's your moneymaker right there. That big jump slash, because you can get behind him and get a lot of 12s in there. Just turn around and do it, huh? I gotta pay real close attention here. Ugh. Not having good luck. I'm gonna drink a potion here in a second, I think. When he taunts you, you can just go ahead and get a free hit in the back. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drink our potions here. You just feather. You really want to feather the ground. Like as soon as you land, jump again, and then see if he turns around or backdashes, and that's going to determine whether you have to go over him or not. But the reason I'm just feathering the ground and jumping immediately is then if he backdashes, I'm jumping over his backdash attack. Like that. You kind of do have to... You really can't anticipate it. You just have to make sure you're in a safe spot if he decides to do it. This boss is Zangetsu, by the way. You may remember Zangetsu from my Curse of the Moon Let's Play. He's the main character in that game. So jump straight up, and if he doesn't backdash, kind of go over him. And if he does, you can get a free hit, usually. Ow. See, there I jumped too late, and his jump slash took care of me. But if we had the oleanders, we'd be getting like free 15 damage hits constantly on him because he'd be poisoned. However, I just could not consistently get the 4,000 gold required to make them. We're not even halfway through the fight yet. Come on, Zangetsu. He's supposed to light his sword on fire halfway through the fight. And he never did. He never lit his sword on fire. So I'm very confused. I've never seen him not light his sword on fire like that. Anyway, we are going to backtrack now a little bit. Ooh, let's not die after that Zangetsu fight. Nice, a couple of free shards there. So, if I didn't forget to get the teleport room in Arventville, we can go back there now. The green rooms are teleport rooms that link together, because we've satisfied all of the early game kill quests. We got our Sabnox, we got our Barbados, we got our Gyaramuns. Say hi to, what did I say this guy's name was? Harold? Is it Harold D. Zambo? Henry? I don't even remember, and it doesn't matter. That's how little that guy matters. So yeah, let's turn all these in. Get some hemp. Get a brigandine. Get some obsidian. And then she wants us to kill all these monsters as well. The new batch of quests. Excellent. And this brigandine is pretty good armor, as I recall. Because our next boss fight is relatively easy to win, but has to be killed very quickly. Like, very quickly. For reasons that will become apparent after I kill it. Which means I've got to fight him very, very fast. I got to fight him very recklessly. I got to put in a lot of my damage. I've got to do my un deux trois triple combo against him. So Harold there is going down to 2 kicks now instead of what was it before, like 4 or 5. So the route that I have, I try to warp back to the entrance to do that busy work stuff as little as possible, but I do need to have those kill quests queued up. Like, you don't want to enter an area that has monsters for kill quests, but don't have the kill quest ready to go. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and everyone's time. It is a little simpler Just having learned the fight and not worrying about the oleanders. I don't have to worry about changing my weapon midway through the fight. Nothing? No shard? Alright. This is the other NPC that we'll see. We're going to do a couple of his quests. He's just a lost guy. And every time you give him a waystone and he warps back to town, but he messes it up, he ends up somewhere else in the castle instead. But he gives you 1,000 gold when you do that. That ain't nothing. It also helps to know where a lot of the breakable walls are, which I do. Because there are a lot of big ticket items hidden in those walls, like the Oathbearer sword. That's worth some bank, if you can find it. It's also a decent weapon, actually. I have a save file that is my, like, all the everything, like the full hundo, which involves learning all the techniques, which involves using all the techniques on monsters until you master them. And the one of them that you get from that sword, and it's actually pretty strong. So if you're just going through the game vanilla, you could do worse than to find that sword in that wall. So every time we get an item drop from an enemy, or a shard from an enemy, that's a little bit of money that we don't have to worry about farming later on. Oh, I did not mean to go over your head there. That's the other problem with the Untitled is because they are a fireball motion, because they're a quarter circle forward, they can come out when you don't want them a lot of times. Fine, you can hit me, I don't care. Some sections of the game, like, typically the difficulty comes from the boss fights. The bosses are what I had to practice the most. But some levels in the game are just, like, difficulty spikes. And this is one of them. In particular, these players feel like they have way too many hit points for this point in the game. But so even now you can kind of see, like, these boots are kind of not getting the job done as far as damage output. So when I get to the next boss and I have to defeat it relatively quickly, you'll see that that can cause issues. We're not going to use shortcuts. Shortcuts are special shards which let you hot swap between equipment sets. Like, I could put a shortcut for the oleanders, and then a shortcut for the blue skies, and use one button to switch back and forth. But you don't unlock shortcuts until after the one fight in the game where that strategy would be really useful. So what I'm going to do instead, when I get to the point where I do have to swap equipment, I'm just going to do it from the menu. And I'm going to favorite the stuff that I really like, the stuff that I want to have available for the end game in particular. There's a button you can push to favorite it. By the way, in the bottom left corner of the screen, you can see my speedrun time. How long I've been on this run, and then the yellow number under that is my best time for this particular run. I've never done any other kind of speedrun in this mode. Wait, right here for this guy. He jumped! I've never seen him do that. What is this run? Usually he drops straight down, and then I can get out of there safely. Today he decided to jump across. I'm on an RNG seed that should not exist for Bloodstained, I guess. Just let me through this room. I don't even want to be in here. So there are some levels in the game where it's just better to get through the rooms, man, than to try to not get burned, not get kitty attacked. Yeah, where it's just better to blitz through the rooms and get to the save point or the teleport point or whatever. And the cathedral is one of those places. Do I want a dance mask? I don't think so, because I got a stone mask, right? Oh, it is better defense. We'll put that on. We'll kick this wall open, because that's the ring that we're going to sell later. It's worth like 800 bucks or something. This ought to be my teleport room. And we'll poke our head into Sweeney Todd's room over here. We will not be making use of Sweeney Todd in the run. I used to, every time I go in here, I had a favorite. He changes your hairstyle and color and outfit and stuff for you. I used to have a favorite like hairstyle and outfit that I would do for my runs, but they pushed out a patch which uses a big color wheel instead of just a simple selector. which takes a lot longer, and it's trickier to find the colors I want. So you know what? Just default Miriam is fine. This hallway here, we're just gonna run through. Like, even that gargoyle there. It's just a mess of a hallway. Get out of there. We got a sword up there. That flying sword over there is much, much too tough to be in this area of the game. That's kind of standard for these kind of Castlevania-style games, is a lot of times they'll put one enemy in an area that's much tougher than anything else, and then later in the run, you find them as relatively common enemies. Coming up on our next boss now, and I switch back and forth between the D-pad and the control stick sometimes. The reason I do that is just because it's easier for me to do the triple kicks with the control stick. It's easier for me to do the motion. We need to kill this boss before he grabs that second piece of furniture. Which, if we get lots of criticals here, that's not going to be too difficult. I saw we got a couple. So now we're just going to kick him normally until we're back to 45 mana. Because that's how much we need for the triple kick. But you can see that it's taken a lot of practice to figure out like how close I can get to him without being inside of his hitbox to sustain damage. Looks like we are on about pace for as far as level ups go, though. And we got him. 17 damage per kick is about what you want to see for that guy. And because we beat him fast enough, we can use that other piece of furniture there as a platform to get up to this room, to get the Crusader armor and the Silver Knight, both of which are going to be very important. I do allow familiars on this route. Crusader armor. Look how good that is. 1 attack, 6 defense. Terrific. The Silver Knight does attack and will deal some damage. Because it's an indirect attack, I do allow familiars. We're going to replace him anyway. He'll be really useful throughout one area of the run coming up quickly. But we're going to replace him with my favorite familiar before too much longer. But for now, we have the Craftwork Shard, which is required for progression, but I'm not allowed to use it to attack. That's the next thing we need to progress in the game. It'll let us get through the garden. You see there, the Silver Knight's only dealing 6 damage. So you see, I'm not really worried about the amount of damage. Like, he's not going to kill bosses for me. I do still have to kick every boss to death. Mostly I use him just because there's no other familiar available. And I wouldn't have him without that early Craftwork kill. The real prize is the Crusader armor, though. It's just excellent armor for this point in the game. That being said, the really hard bosses are behind us for a while. Craftwork is actually not terribly difficult. But Zangetsu, man, he can be a real pain in the butt this early. And again, it's just because you don't have access to a lot of resources yet. You don't have ways to really augment your attack power yet. But I don't want to go much further without improving my attack power at least a little bit. So we're going to make that the focus of the next leg of the game here. These lethal boots that's another. I could equip those, and you can get those before Zangetsu if you want to come down here and do this loop around. Down through the garden again. They do about as much damage as the blue skies early on, plus 2 damage because they have like a little knife in the toe of the boot. So if you hit with the kick plus the knife, you actually get 2 damage over the blue skies. The main reason I don't get them before Zangetsu is I don't want to make this whole loop around a second time. There are glitches you can do involving the un deux trois kicks, Basically, you can use them to refresh jumps in the air when you're not supposed to be able to. I think the any % speedrun of this game uses that trick in order to get past this area here. We're going to use craft work to grab this block out of the way. And this is the ability that I wasn't able to use on that Iron Maiden. I tried to grab the Iron Maiden. It didn't work. Probably just kind of clipped it with the tip of the fingers instead of grabbing with the whole palm of the thing. Anyway, you need craft work so you can open the path so the carriage can get through there, right? Or you can use this weird glitch to just kick your way across the gap. There's two reasons I don't do it. For one, it's really, really difficult. It involves like using an attack shard in the air, and then backdash canceling it, and then doing the undo trois input, and then jumping, and it's just really, really difficult to do. The other reason I don't do it in this run is because it requires an attack shard, and I'm not allowed to use attack shards. So, that's nice. So we're going to be fighting all of the main story bosses, but none of the, like, bonus bosses, if that makes sense. In the game. So even if I could do the trick, I'd still probably want to kill Craftwork for that reason, if nothing else. And now we're going to go down here and just book it past here. Because we do not... This Banshee creature, oh, she cursed us, which cuts our life in half. We definitely want to get down here now. She's another example of an out-of-depth monster, kind of like that living sword thing that I pointed out. But we're taking a detour down here into the waterway. Down into the cave areas of the game. Basically to get as much money as we can. We want a bunch of money for the next area of the game. There's a passage there that I'm not taking, just because it has a recipe book that I don't want. We're going to save here, and when we pick it up in the next video, we will explore the caves, and we will become stinking rich. See you guys there. Shoutouts to He Who Wants Jeans for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, please tickle my thumb, leave a friendly comment, and ring my little bell.